Muslims on Radio Islam International. Well, joining us now on the line, we've got Dr. Mustaf Barghouti, the Secretary General of the Palestinian National Initiative. He's currently in South Africa and joins us on the line to discuss the Palestinian issue and the specific situation in Gaza. Dr. Barghouti, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Radio Islam International.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Jum'ah Mubarak.
Barakallahu feekum. So, in recent days, there has been a lot of attention on the speeches given at the UN, the various speeches, and also on the fact that the US has denied Palestinian representatives visas to attend the UN in person. What are your thoughts on how things have played out at the UN?
Well, I think the general picture, regardless of the fact that the United States of America punished the Palestinian side by denying the Palestinian delegation visas to enter the United States. And in that approach, it actually jeopardized the status of the United States itself more than anything else as a host to the United Nations. In general, I think what we've seen in the General Assembly is absolute and total isolation of Israel and the United States, because the vast majority of the world is supporting Palestine in an unprecedented manner. The recognitions of the Palestinian state, regardless of the fact that it did not change reality on the ground, reflected, on the other hand, this international consensus about the Palestinian rights. And I do believe that we are seeing, not only in the General Assembly in the United Nations, but worldwide, what we see today is something very similar to what happened to the wide solidarity against the system of apartheid in South Africa at one point of time. It's repeating itself again for Palestine. And Israel has been practically classified as a pariah structure, a pariah entity that has violated all international laws. And the proofs are many. In my opinion, the peoples of the world are uprising against this oppression of the Palestinian people. Look at the flotilla, which now includes more than 50 ships. And even governments like Spain and Italy were obliged to send their military vessels to protect this flotilla. So this is a grand change worldwide in support of Palestine. Of course, the price is very high that our people are paying because of the three war crimes that Israel is committing: genocide, collective punishment, and ethnic cleansing.
What's your thoughts on those who are still calling for a two-state solution? There are those who are skeptical and saying that it's no longer viable, considering what Israel has done in recent years, and that the better model to look at would be the South African model, a one-state solution where everyone lives as equals.
I've written about this so many times, and I've called for that for a long time too. But I also used to say that we should not look like the Palestinians as the ones who are refusing the two-state solution, because in reality, it's Israel that is destroying it, not us. And in my opinion, yes, you are right. On the ground, Israel has destroyed largely any potential for a two-state solution. And that's why I think that the recognitions of the Palestinian state are not enough. What we need, in addition to the recognitions, are collective, serious, effective, punitive acts against Israel. And that is sanctions on Israel. Sanctions, boycott, divestment, military embargo. This is what we need immediately, because the recognitions will not stop the genocide that is happening in Gaza. And but the world must know that there are only three options for what's happening in Palestine. The first option is the two-state solution, where a Palestinian independent sovereign real state is established, which Israel rejects. The second option is one democratic state with equal rights for everybody, as you have done in South Africa. And that also is rejected by Israel. So what remains is what Israel plans for and works for and conducts actually, which is the total ethnic cleansing of all Palestinians from Palestine. This is the declared policy of this fascist Israeli government. And that's why defeating the notion of ethnic cleansing and the genocide that Israel is conducting now in Palestine will definitely, at the end of the day, lead to the only possible lasting solution in this case, which would be one democratic state.
Now, what will it take for the US to stop blindly supporting Israel? We hear all the time about APAC, we hear about whoever comes into the White House, be it Republican or Democrat, their funders and those who played a part in getting them there. Ensure that they toe the line when it comes to Israel. We hear reports from time to time that Netanyahu embarrasses Trump by doing things without informing him timeously. Yet, even though European countries, albeit symbolically, are starting to change their narrative somewhat and talk about recognizing a Palestinian state, why does the US remain so loyal to Israel?
Well, that's a very big question that requires very long answer, but but I'll summarize. I think there are a combination of factors. No, I don't think Netanyahu embarrasses Trump. Trump is a partner with Netanyahu in this war. Trump supports exactly what Israel is doing. And he even participated in deceiving Palestinians and others several times during the course of this war. As Netanyahu said, they've never had such an American president who is so loyal to Israel. I mean, they all have been loyal to Israel, but this one has gone beyond any border. Uh, so in reality, we are talking here about an alliance, not about one side pushing the other. And that alliance is a strategic alliance because, in one way or another, Israel is representing and protecting imperialist interests in the region. Before United States of America, Israel was the defender of British and French colonial interests in the region. I mean, they attacked Egypt in 1956 because Egypt was supporting the Algerian revolution against French colonialism, and because Egypt nationalized the Suez Canal, which Britain and France used to own practically. So, in a way, Israel shifted its role from European colonial countries mainly to support to serve the American colonial interest in the region, and particularly the issue of oil and the issue of energy and the geopolitical interests of the United States. On the other side, Israel also has a very powerful lobby in the United States, which is APAC, as you mentioned. Not only APAC, they have 45 Jewish organizations in the United States, all of which work for Israel. But and how to change that? In my opinion, three ways. First thing, the first factor that would force the United States to change its position is the steadfastness and struggle of the Palestinian people. If we are not struggling and defending our country and our future, nobody will care about us. The second factor is, yes, the allies of the United States, due to the pressure of their people. I mean, the people of Britain, the people of Spain, the people of Canada, the people are pushing their governments to change. And many allies of the United States, and the issue of recognition here of the Palestinian state was an indicator, find themselves separate from the United States policy. That is a pressure by itself. But the most important factor which will lead to change is the third factor, and that is the change in America among the American people themselves. All recent polls have shown that there is a great shift now, especially after all the massacres that Israel has committed, and that could not be hidden this time. There is a great shift in the United States public opinion. In a recent poll, it showed that 75% of all Democrats demand that that the United States stop supplying Israel with weapons, and no less than 37% of Republicans even support a military embargo. So there is a shift in the United States that eventually will affect the the leaders of the United States, as it happened with the South African system, South African struggle. Let me remind you that in the case also of South Africa, also first people changed, then they changed the parliaments, then parliaments changed governments, and the last to come was the United States of America. I remember very well giving an interview to CNN after Nelson Mandela was elected and became the president that every American president wanted to have a photo opportunity with. At that exact time, I said that Nelson Mandela was still on the terrorist list of the American Congress. And that was true. And it took 6 months after that before Condoleezza Rice, at that time the State Secretary of the United States, interfered and changed the status of Nelson Mandela. So the reality is that the last to change usually is the United States of America. But I want to finish here. There is one factor that has not been used, which can be so effective and can force Trump immediately to change and stop this terrible genocidal war in Gaza. And that is the pressure from 57 Arab and Muslim countries.
Yeah.
We didn't see that yet. These 57 Arab and Muslim countries can tell Trump that the interest of his country in the region are totally dependent on him interfering and stopping this genocide in Gaza. Trump has military bases in the Middle East and in Muslim and Arab countries. He has huge economic interest. The Middle East alone produces 1/3 of the world energy. I mean, just a very clear message to him would really force him to change. And that's what is missing. That's what we need. And that's what we've been calling for.
Dr. Mustafa Barghouti, shukran so much for your time and enjoy your stay in South Africa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Assalamu
It's
alaikum
good
wa
to be with
rahmatullahi
you.
wa
Thank you. Wa alaikum salam.
It's just gone 7:32 now.